Once upon a time, there were some very sad children who couldn't go out to play because they didn't have a garden. The children at Matilda's nursery could only stare out of the windows at what they hoped would one day be a lovely, safe area for lots of fun and games.
But one day they had an idea. Why not call in the Garden Invaders and see if they could come to the rescue with some of their very special garden magic?
How could we resist? We couldn't really. We're in Wapping at the Matilda Community Day Nursery.
And I've done a design especially for the kids. We've got the invaders, we've got all the free landscaping materials, but the same rules apply. One of the mums has got to answer Charlie's questions to win the plants.
I could be a bit lenient.
Well, no, yeah, go on, be easy on. Go easy on them. As many as possible.
Mothers Emma Miller and Vicky Tasker are desperate to do something with this muddy and barren patch of land. In London's Docklands, with Tower Bridge and the River Thames nearby, many of the youngsters don't have gardens at home, so the chance to get outside and play is vital, and that's a challenge for Garden Invaders. Emma, you've written, I mean, this is a lovely nursery, but so what would you like done with the garden?
Just a bit more for the children to see and do, and also there are some unattractive features like the puddles which fill up with water. That means that the children can't come outside, which is quite sad because you come in and hear them all shouting garden, garden, and they can't come out because it's very sad.
But also, I mean, you know, there's some quite large areas of not much going on really, and I think the space could be rearranged a bit better. You've got an interesting sort of tyre, I don't know, a tyre rockery or something.
It's very urban, isn't it?
Very urban, that is, yeah.
And it's unusual to have such a big space being right in the capital, right in the centre of London.
And important for the children who come here, because many of them wouldn't have large gardens to play in, which is another reason why it'd be nice to have a good garden at the nursery.
Yeah.
And your daughter Grace comes
does
here?
Yes. She has a particular issue with the wet because she has cystic fibrosis.
Right.
And that means that she has to be careful about the bugs that
live in
stagnant water.
Stagnant water.
So for her, it's a particular problem when she can't when it's all wet.
But it must be good for her to be able to run up and down.
Oh, very good. Yes,
space.
Exercise is really important. Yeah.
And it's good for all children. Wear them out.
I think there's just some practical issues here, and I'm just creating some more interest and some more stimulation. And then there's things like the shade that we've got to deal with. But yeah, I think we can definitely work on this space and improve it.
Which of you young ladies is doing the work, and which is answering questions
I'm
for
doing the work.
Vicky's the worker.
Yeah.
Right. So Emma, you're with me.
Unfortunately.
So we're round the corner. I think you're fine doing the questions. Well,
Okay,
you two.
yeah, well, win everything.
No sitting in the house and
No, you know
Joe
me.
pointing.
I'm not mucking about. I'm very sensible. I'm grown up now.
Right.
Okay, Vicky. Thanks, Mike. Come up with a simple scheme. You know, I don't want to clutter it all up. You know, they sort of have a space to run around in. So, this is the paving here.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get a new playhouse, right? We're going to get this fantastic playhouse that's going to be turning up today.
Brilliant.
Yeah. We're going to put a triangular shade over the area.
Oh, that'd be
It's quite a nice
fantastic.
big, like a sail. We're going to use those existing tyres and build them up into, nothing too high, but just turn them into something rather than just a sort of tyre, I don't know what it is, mess. And we're going to build, over in that corner, we're going to build like a raised bed. So what do you think? Think it's going to work?
It'll be fantastic, yeah.
Excellent.
Can't wait.
Here's your T-shirt. Thanks, Lizzie-Anne.
Thank you.
Now put that on.
Right.
And first thing to do is get this turf up.
Okay, lovely.
Okay.
This is a lovely area.
Yeah, lovely and quiet, isn't it?
It is, and we've got loads of plants for you to win.
I can see.
Have you been doing some swatting up?
Not as much as I probably should have been.
The first group are evergreen shrubs, scented but evergreen, so they'll always be there, and no matter what the weather's like. Then we've got herbs, which are great for children because there's so many different smells there, and they can eat them. Then we've got some tactile plants as well as scented. This one, I mean, feel that.
Oh yes, it's like suede, isn't
yeah,
it? Beautiful.
children will love to touch that. And we've got a few climbers.
Lovely, aren't they?
They're very pretty clematis. And then over there, a few sort of toys and gardening
lovely.
implements, but that's not your bit. That's going to be Vicky. She's got to answer the question.
Right.
And she thought she had the short straw doing the gardening. She's got questions
doing
as well. So all these shrubs here are sort of Mediterranean, so they all like what I would call a poor soil. The poorer the soil, the better the aromatic sort of oils in them. So they like a free draining soil, not too wet. Sandy soil's ideal. We've got lavender. This one's Hidcote, Lavandula Hidcote. It's quite a compact lavender. With lavender, what you really ought to do after it's finished flowering is trim it up so that it doesn't go all scraggly. And that goes also for this, which is called cotton lavender. Gets these button lemon yellow flowers on them. Really grown for its foliage, which has a scent that you either like or you don't like. And then you probably recognise this. This is
Rosemary.
rosemary. And we've got two different types here. This is the upright form and this is the prostrate form. So that will sort of lay flat across the surface. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. What part of the cauliflower do we eat as a vegetable? Is it the immature flower buds, the immature leaves, or the seed heads?
Seed head.
Unfortunately, no.
I'm sorry.
It's no, it's fine. It's fine. It's Joe that you'll have to apologise. It's the flowers. You knew it was one or the other,
yeah.
didn't you? Never mind. We've got lots of other smelly plants. Come and have a look at the herbs.
There's going to be up to 15 kids playing in this playground at any one time, so it's got to be a practical space, but it's also got to be stimulating for them too. Here we're going to put in a Kota, a Finnish Kota traditional playhouse. It's going to be great. It's going to take up most of this area here, and it's also going to be a dry place underneath where they can keep dry when it's wet. And moving on, we're going to turf this whole area, but we've got a special surface to go on it, which is going to make it easy to maintain. Now here we're going to put the tyres that we've already got. We're going to make them into something. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with it yet, but it's going to be safe and it's also going to be great fun to play on. Over on the hard surface over there, we're going to use the existing playhouse and recycle it, and we're also going to put a sand pit over there. Kids love sand, don't they? And here, we're going to take some of the level off, so we're going to level the whole area flat, which is going to create two tiers here because we've got some spoil that we've got to get rid of. So we're going to build a wall all the way around, have a raised bed here, and this is going to be the perfect place for kids to start gardening, and it's going to be ideal. So this garden is going to be safe, it's going to be stimulating, it's going to be ideal for Grace and her friends.
So we've got some very nice herbs here. You didn't get the other ones, but there's lots of scented plants here. We go from sort of your traditional, what I would call English herbs, like mint and chives. There's more mint here, which like quite a rich soil that's moisture retentive. And then we've got more of the Mediterranean herbs, things like the sage and the thyme. Ready for this question?
As I'll ever be.
Positive thinking. You're going to get these ones. What is a quince? Is it a type of fruit, a type of vegetable, or a type of nut?
Fruit.
You did even hesitate there. Well done. So you got all these nice smelly plants.
Oh, good.
Should we get Tom?
We have found a superworm, possibly the biggest worm in London. What do you reckon, Dave?
Some kind of mutant worm, man. Look at it, it's not a worm, it's a snake.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's trying to constrict me when I picked it up. A beauty.
Now, how cool is this? Forget your Wendy houses, they're a bit boring. This is a traditional Finnish Kota house, and it's going to be used as a playhouse by the kids here. Nice dry space for them to play in. But originally, these were designed and dotted all over Finland for the reindeer hunters, for them to rest, and they'd have a barbecue on the inside. And the roof is pitched like this so that when the snow falls heavily on it, it would come straight off again rather than collapsing on the roof. It's been made with this lovely spruce, and that's going to weather well. Now we've got the experts to come and put the whole thing together. In a playground like this, you've got to think health and safety first. So we don't want any screws protruding or anything. So they've done a great job of it. And pretty much guaranteed, this is the only one of these in London.
So Grace is how old?
She's just over 2.
Just over 2. And she's got cystic fibrosis, hasn't
That's
she?
right, which is a disorder which means that her body creates too much mucus in her digestive system and lungs, which means she's prone to infection and needs to eat a very high-fat diet, and it could be a very serious disease, so it's all a question of keeping it at bay.
If they don't get much exercise, you have to treat.
One of the treatments is physiotherapy, which is sort of patting Grace's lungs and back to make sure that the mucus can, come out easier. But if she's running around and jumping and on a trampoline, then you don't have to do that.
So that's good.
It's a bonus.
So if they get the garden all sorted
Exactly,
out,
which is another reason why we wanted to have a garden here to play in.
Well, we've got these plants here. We've got catmint here, which cats go bonkers on, and they'll roll in it. And I don't know why. It's the thing that you put in their like toys, like catnip and stuff like that. And it gets covered in very pretty lilac-y flowers that sort of are on spikes. And this has got many names, common names: lamb's tongue, lamb's ears, lamb's lugs, and it's really because it's so soft, and it gets these spikes of sort of magenta pink flowers, but it's really grown for its foliage. It's quite a good ground cover plant. We're doing well now. If you planted a flowering hybrid tea, what would you hope to be blooming soon? A hydrangea, a rose, or a daffodil?
A rose.
See, you didn't hesitate again. Fantastic. Yay, well done. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sure Grace will love touching that.
Yeah.
Well, you sit there and just relax. I'm going to take these away and tell Jo the good news. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very Hansel and Gretel.
It's a Cotter house. It's finished.
Oh, it's finished,
Well,
is it? Finished? It's not finished. There's no door on it.
No, it's finished. Finished. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, mate, you kept that under your hat, didn't you? That you're such a good chippy.
Yeah. Oh no, we got the boys in to do this.
The garden's coming on well then.
Yeah, coming on really well. Yeah, we've got a nice day for it, and nice and dry. The invaders getting stuck in.
What's the tyres about?
That bit is going to be, well, I'm sort of keeping that under my hat as well. So I'll tell you about that a bit later. Yeah. Don't jump the gun.
No, all right then. And how's it going in the raking department?
fine. Yeah, it's looking great. It's
great, this, isn't it?
Lovely.
It's
Yeah, the kids are
fantastic. Now, your children come here, or one of them does?
One does. Lily, who's 3.
Oh, okay.
And Charlie was going to come today because he's 18 months. And they can come at 18 months, but he's got chicken pox, so he couldn't
you're
come
not
today.
contagious,
No,
are you?
I'm not. No, I'm
Okay.
fine.
Mind you, I have had chicken pox. I'll be all right. So what's the nursery like?
It's great. It's a community day nursery where the parents actually have put something into...
So you say what goes?
Yeah,
Or you
and we all kind of help, and we do a little bit here and a little bit there. So it actually makes the nursery much more affordable, because being in the centre of London is very, very expensive.
And does Lily enjoy herself?
She loves it. She's as good as gold when she gets back. So
She's exhausted,
Yes.
which you will be after all this raking. I'm going to see what Dave's doing over here, apart from moaning. Hello.
Moaning.
No, this looks really idiot-proof.
Children's garden, they got me playing with Lego. They didn't trust me with bricks and mortar,
Just
I don't
all
think.
pegs together, does it?
Does all peg together.
Sorry.
Yeah. It will do, though.
It will do. You've not fixed that bit
I've
yet?
not fixed that bit, no.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you to it. I'm
you very
having a
much.
nice day, just sitting around in the shade. I have to say, Emma, we've got the best position Vicky's looking a little bit on the warm side and on the sun. Yes, working hard. She's working hard. Now these are all the climbers for really to cover the fence up. I mean, this one here, Virginia Creeper. I can see the children using that one because the Virginia Creeper, it changes through all sorts of colours in the autumn. It goes from yellow to orange to red. So I can see them using it and making sort of collages with the leaves and stuff like that. And then we've got several different types of honeysuckle. Honeysuckle's a bit like clematis, and it likes its feet to be in the shade and its head to be in the sun. And evergreen, we've got two different types of ivies. This one over here is called clotted cream, which is the green and white one, which is really nice. And then we've got a couple of different clematis. We've got Comtesse de Bouchard, which is this bigger flowered one with 6 petals. And then we've got Pilou, which is like a 4-petaled one. The same colours, but different flowers. Right, now this question is slightly different from the others. You've probably been looking at these plants here. I want you to tell me which one is the true geranium.
Well, these two both look like geraniums. And that one doesn't look anything like a geranium. So I would say that that one would be the true geranium.
That's right.
Oh,
It was a slightly trick question. I have to say. These are actually pelargoniums, but in England we call them geraniums, whereas this is a true geranium, and it's herbaceous and it comes up every year and it's hardy. So that's a true geranium. Now, you think you've finished all your questions, which you have,
yes.
but you've got a little project to do now.
Right.
We always like to recycle things on Garden Invaders, and these tyres were already here, but they were just sort of piled up in a bit of a mess. So we've made some sense out of them. We just put these timber posts into the ground, and we've separated them out here and screwed them straight through into the timber posts. Now, the critical thing here is that the gap has to be a minimum of 9 inches or above. We've gone well over, we've gone about 12 inches. Either has to be a very small gap, about 2 inches, or a very big gap, but nothing in between where a kid might be able to get their head stuck or something. But I think they're really going to enjoy this. We've got different levels. We've got 3 on that one, we're going to have 2 on this one, and 1 there. So there's all different levels, and they can climb in and around them. And if they fall off, it doesn't matter, because we're going to have a soft landing here. I'm quite pleased with that. It's very cheap, very simple to do. Now, when you come to the back of the garden here, we're going to turn this into a raised planting area, because if you plant amongst all this play equipment, they're just going to trample all over it, the kids. So this is a way of having a proper barrier. You're going to come up to here, and we're going to separate out the planting from the rest of the garden. And this is brilliant. Dave, how have you built this stuff? This is good. I like it.
It's a children's garden. It's Lego, mate.
Oh, is it?
Oh, perfect. Look at this. Look. Slots together.
Yeah.
These little chaps here.
Right.
Knock it all together. In there. You get yourself a little wall.
And you just bang them all together
Bang
like
all
a bit of grown-up Lego, like you say.
I've never done it before, but I'm really quite impressed, I must say.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
No, brilliant stuff. And it's going to be a raised bed, so we're going to have a sunny area, and then under the tree here it's going to be nice and shady. But to create more shade in the garden, because it does get incredibly hot here, we've got this ready-made sail that we're going to drape across the really sunny area over there, create some shade for the kids, so they don't have to keep slapping on that suntan cream.
Right then, Emma. Don't worry, you haven't got to use all of this. So we've got some marine ply, so that's going to be okay outside in the rain. We've got a bit of board there, but that's actually for a straight edge.
Okay.
Tape measure and marker pens, and what I'd like you to do is make a sundial.
Wow.
Now, I would probably suggest about 16 inches square, and you can be as arty as you want. We've got some nice paint there. And we thought, well, sundial's going to be sort of quite educational for the children.
Absolutely.
Till time, and if it's like this, you see, fantastic.
Wow.
Are you all right with that?
Yep. Hopefully.
It's not as bad as doing the questions,
No,
is it?
nothing as bad as that.
Charlie?
Joe?
Charlie, can you come here, please?
Joe.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes. That's what I like. I am quite a powerful designer, don't you think?
Yeah, that's one word.
Now listen,
what's on
this
then?
is a project for you. It was placed over here. It had a little, dwarf conifer and a couple of heathers in it, and we want to refurb the whole thing, yeah?
Make it a bit cheerier, maybe?
Yeah, no, brighten it up. And I thought maybe educational, maybe sort of have some numbers or letters on it or something like that.
Okay. I'll see what
And
I
then
do.
plant it up with these lovely herbs. It's
Yes.
a nice sunny spot here.
Yeah.
And rather than putting it on the soil, put it on the hard standing here. It's more
Okay.
practical.
Okay then. There's quite a lot of herbs there, Joe.
Now this garden was all turf before, but we've lost it because it just became a complete mud heap. There was dips in it and it was terrible. It was a completely useless surface for the kids to play on. But we are going to re-turf it. But the problem with turf is the durability and the wear and tear. So we're going to use a sports turf, a nice sports turf, but the key is this stuff. This is a rubber matting that you lay over the top of the turf. Now it's going to look a bit strange to start with, but the turf's going to grow through it and you just mow it as normal. But the best thing about this is for a play surface, it's a really soft landing, and any play equipment that's over 600 millimetres, about 2 feet, you've got to use this stuff underneath. And some of our play equipment is that tall. It's going to look a bit strange at first, it's going to look very dark, but give it a couple of weeks, it'll green up really nicely and be easy to mow. Now over here, we've got a brilliant sandpit. Everyone loves sandpits. But this one has got 2 little built-in benches either side. So there you go, you've got the sand in the middle, the lid keeps the cats off at night, and at the same time, kids can play in here, you get about 6 or 7 of them in at one time. This is my favourite bit though, look at this. Oh no, I've gone into the carriage, I need to be a driver. This is a lovely little wooden toy, little train set. Choo-choo! These painted ply triangles are great. They add colour to the garden, they add a bit of screening, a bit of privacy, and at the same time they create more shade, which is essential. Really pleased with those.
Wow,
All finished.
Good, I like that. I'm impressed because I wasn't convinced about that, but it looks much
nor was
better.
I when I saw the instructions.
Yeah, much better than I expected. Well, that's you finished now. You can go inside, and I see that your technique of painting is very similar to
Yeah,
mine. More on
not
your
bad.
hands than on the actual thing. Go inside, wash your hands, put your feet up for a bit, but
Okay.
no peeking, all right?
No peeking.
And I will take that. Oh, God, it's heavy, isn't it?
There's not a huge amount of planting area in the nursery, so we're going to use the boundaries to grow a load of climbers, and that's going to help increase privacy as well because it's quite exposed over there. And this is a wonderful one. This is Parthenocissus quinquefolia, or Virginia creeper. Now, quinquefolia means 5 leaves, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful leaves, and that's what this plant's all about. Fresh green through the summer, and then they turn this amazing red in the autumn. Absolutely stunning plant. We're going to tie it on just to help it up a little bit, but after about a year, it'll just scramble up all by itself. Kids love touchy-feely plants, and it's nice to get them involved at an early age, and this is one of the perfect plants for them. It's called Stachys byzantia, or the common name is lamb's ears. You can see why. It's absolutely fantastic. It's really, really soft, the leaves on it, and it's got these woolly stems all the way up, and then these little magenta flowers that are quite subtle. And it'll spread all along the ground, so it's great for breaking up paving or dangling over a wall or something, and it likes full sun. It's a fantastic plant.
There we go, finished. I wish I hadn't started that because it took ages. I was going to just draw some pretty flowers, but then I thought it'd be a really good idea to put the names of the herbs. So I'm pleased that it's finished now. So this is our herb wheel with all the different herbs in that were won. And what I've done is in the centre, I've put a big pot in the centre and planted all the mints in there, and that'll stop the mint from taking over. And that's it now. Well, Vicky, this is your bit. Having had to work hard in the garden, you've now got to answer a question.
Right.
For all these fun toys, aren't they great?
Yeah, they're fantastic. I just hope I can get the question right.
So, here we go. Are you ready? Which climber gives the garden a brilliant autumn finale when its leaves change to brilliant red? Is it ivy, firethorn, or Virginia creeper?
It's the Virginia creeper.
Yay! Girl! Me for her! Fantastic!
Yeah.
See, now I'm slightly disappointed because I was rather hankering after this one.
God,
well
wow.
done. Now, Emma, when we turned up this morning, what was the garden like?
Oh, it was awful, really. Tyres strewn around, big puddles and holes in the ground, no turf, nothing really, nothing for the children.
Okay, you can open your eyes.
Oh, wow.
Slight little makeover on the house.
It's not the same house. That is
Isn't it fantastic?
amazing. And look at the train.
I know.
Grace will go mad with the train.
And we've still got the
Oh,
tyres.
yeah, the tyres, the urban touch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's a climbing frame. Oh, there's little benches. Like being at the beach. It's lovely.
And this is whizzy stuff,
Yeah.
this black stuff, Joe,
we've
isn't it?
we've turfed underneath it, and within, I reckon, a couple of weeks, the grass comes through it. So it's a soft landing, but at the same time, you can just
So
mow
clever.
straight over it, and it won't wear.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. And is that the herb?
Yeah.
Charlie did that.
That was the one that was already here. He got me to whiz it up a bit.
Right.
Yeah, it was up a lot.
Oh, it's beyond, as I say, anything I could have
You put a lot of work
imagined.
into
I
this
feel
one,
quite
you did.
emotional. Yeah. Thank you ever so
I always
much.
put a lot of work into
No, but
Charlie.
this one, it was special,
Oh
wasn't
no,
it?
it's special. I love doing stuff for kids. I mean, there's a whole atmosphere. You know, the kids outside have been brilliant. They've been
Yeah,
helping us.
yeah.
There's a really nice vibe about the
yeah.
whole community here.
Yeah.
Well, I think we really ought to let them come and test it out. We think it's nice, but do they? And they all played happily ever after in their special new garden.
Oh, I love a happy ending.
Oh, it wasn't that. It wasn't a story though, Joe. It
What do
was
you mean?
real.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
Now I have to say, I like the sale and the house. I want
Yeah.
to move in.
That house is amazing, isn't it?
Fantastic.
I like the surface as well. I know, it looks a bit weird at the moment, but when the grass is growing through it, it's going to be fantastic. Really durable surface. It's going to work.
Yeah. With 14 children running around on it all the
Yeah,
time.
14 children. Well, they're out there now, aren't they?
They are having a great time. I have to say, we've got some rather tired bunnies.
Yeah, I know.
Should we leave them sleeping? They've worked very hard.
Yeah, let's see them.
Come on in.
See you next time.